This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. Hey, I want to direct your attention to an interview that we just did with Robert P. Jones, the founder and president of the Public Religion Research Institute, who just wrote this amazing new book called The Hidden Roots of White Supremacy and the Path to a Shared American Future. It ended up being an amazing conversation with this author. We had him on like 3 years ago when he wrote a book called White Too Long, talking about the roots of white supremacy in American Christianity. Anyway, I would direct your attention to it. It is important, and I think you'll be interested in it. Also, we're giving away this very copy of the book that I hold in my hands, and just watch the interview. In the first part of it, we explain how to get entered for us to mail this to you. Anyway, I would appreciate it. It's not only entertaining and informative, it's very important. So check that out. Let's talk about Donald Trump and Glenn Beck. Recently, they did an interview. There is absolutely not a strain. It's not like in a gold mine, like a vein of gold that runs through the Republican Party that is hypocrisy. It is just a rot from within. It's not a sampling of hypocrisy. It is a nightmare of hypocrisy. It is just a point of order for hypocrisy to be the rule of the day for Republicans. You've got guys like Jason Chaffetz, who was a Utah congressman, a devout, spiritual Mormon man, who after the Donald Trump Access Hollywood tape drop, he's like, well, I can't vote for Donald Trump now. What would I tell my daughters? And then ended up voting for Donald Trump, is now a fixture on Fox News defending Donald Trump constantly. And Glenn Beck is another one of these, coincidentally, another Mormon. I don't know what speaks to that, but he's another one of these types that spoke very forcefully against Donald Trump in the early days and realized that it wasn't going to fill his coffers, that the grift started lessening. There was a deficiency in the money because in right-wing circles, if you stand up for Donald Trump, you get paid. Well, Glenn Beck, the coward, the traitor to America, and the conspiracy theorist, had Donald Trump on, and they are asking the question of when you get into office, if you get elected president again, Donald Trump, are you going to jail your political opponents? You know, the thing that Donald Trump is constantly whining about, the persecution, how wrong this is. That this is not our country. This is wrong. It shouldn't. This is unfair. And when he's asked directly about whether or not he plans to jail his political opponents, I don't think it's going to take a genius to understand or ascertain what his answer is. But here is this wild moment of hypocrisy from Donald Trump and Glenn Beck.
You said in 2016, lock her up. And then when you became president, you said, we don't do that in America. That's just not the right thing to do. That's what they're doing. Do you regret not locking her up? And if you're president again, will you lock people up?
Well, I'll give you an example. The answer is you have no choice because they're doing it to us. I always had such great respect for the office of the president, the presidency, but the office of the president, and I never hit Biden as hard as I could have. And then I heard he was trying to indict me, and it was him that was doing it. You know, I don't think he's sharp enough to think about much, but he was there, and he was probably the one giving the order, but he was, hard to believe that he even thinks about that because he's gone. But then I said, well, they're actually trying to indict me because every one of these indictments is him, including Bragg. Bragg put his top people. I don't know if you know this. He put his top person into the office of the Manhattan District Attorney. They've been in total coordination with Fannie Willis. The woman that I never met that they accused me of rape, that's being run by a Democrat operative and paid for by the Democrat Party. So many of these things. I have a couple of other lawsuits, all funded against me by the Democrat Party. These are sick people. These are evil people.
That was a smorgasbord of nonsense and contradictory statements. Joe Biden cannot be at the same moment gone, as Donald Trump said. He's not sharp enough. He's gone, yet also having orchestrated this massive conspiracy, putting prosecutors into place across the country in disparate municipalities, which, by the way, isn't how it works. The Alvin Bragg, the DA in Manhattan, is an elected official. Joe Biden didn't appoint him. But Donald Trump, let me say this, Donald Trump might believe that. He might think that's how it works because he is such an absolute idiot. He has such a fundamental lack of understanding of basic civics. I mean, he's second only to maybe Vivek Ramaswamy, who doesn't understand the fundamentals of American civics. Donald Trump is there too. But to say we're going to do that, you have no choice. You have no choice after saying it's fundamentally unfair. It's not how we should do things. But answering the question, he should have put Hillary Clinton in jail for what? I mean, that should always just be the question. For what? I'm not a giant fan of Hillary Clinton. I didn't support her. I did in the general election. I didn't in the primary. But she's not a criminal. She hasn't committed crimes. Why would you? For what? What would you indict her for? What would you prosecute her for? That's the question. We actually have a laundry list of crimes that Donald Trump is alleged to have committed, some of which we witnessed him commit, so it's not necessarily an allegation. But Glenn Beck, the coward and hypocrite, Glenn Beck is going to ask this question of Donald Trump and expect anything other than a hypocritical answer. It is disgusting because this is where they want us. They've convinced a massive swath of the country, not half, certainly, but 35% of the country, that the election was stolen from Donald Trump. It wasn't. He lost. And then they want to say that we're afraid that he's going to win. And the only way that we can stop him from winning, when he didn't even win last time, and he didn't even get the popular vote in 2016, the only way to stop this political juggernaut is to convict him of crimes he didn't commit. Nobody's afraid of you, Donald Trump. I mean, we are fearful of what you will bring to pass. But as a man, you're a physical weakling. You're a coward. You are all bluster. Your supporters, your cult members, on the other hand, do pose a danger. As evidenced by the seditious conspiracy, your supporters who have been convicted of treason against the United States for their acts in an attempt to overthrow the government. So Glenn Beck and Donald Trump, two peas in a pod. Anyway, what do you think? I'd love to know. You can call. Leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. I'd love to hear from you. You can follow me on social media. Make sure you check out this interview with Robert P. Jones. It was great. If you want to help support my work, help produce what we're doing here on this channel, what I believe is important work, click the join button below. Become a channel member for $2 a month. Hit the super thanks button or go over to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. I love you guys. I appreciate you very much. I'll see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. Take care of one another.